Now, here's Dominic Carter on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
So in Delaware, today, President Biden came up with an idea, right? And so they call it a holiday, a federal holiday on the gasoline tax, right? Now, this is the president of the United States, right? In New York, we're looking at close to $6 a gallon. So we're going under. All of us are going under together in terms of trying to keep gas in our cars. And what is the solution from the president of these United States? A federal holiday tax that will cover 18 cents a gallon. Now, you do the math. $6 roughly a gallon. And the president, if he actually does this, will save you 18 cents a gallon. Why bother? 18 cents. So what? Maybe 15 gallons to fill up a car, Matt? I believe 15 gallons, give or take. So you will save close to $3? Or if you spend 70, give or take. Right, Matt?
Figured $10. 10 gallons at 18 cents is $1.80.
Right. So the president's answer.
So it's $2.70 on 15 gallons.
With the crisis that we're in, would save us that type of money. So that's my pet peeve of the morning. And so I walked in to receive a bunch of letters that you folks sent me, and I always read every one of them and respond to every one of them. And I will only identify as Patricia L. I'll just say her name is L. First name is Patricia. She lives in Coney Island in Brooklyn. And her letter caught my attention because she says here, and I'm quoting, "So you do a huge service for people like me, connecting humanity when bleakness seems our norm. Why can't I go out at dusk? It's way too dangerous here. Who lives like this? Only us, the prisoners, the actual inmates of Alvin Bragg and his cohorts." And that was just one paragraph out of a several-page letter from Patricia L. that stood out with me. And it shouldn't be like that, Patricia. It really shouldn't. And we've got to change this. And here's how I think. I really believe that we can change this, but it requires drastic action. Where a politician stands on crime should decide for you and I whether or not they stay in office, whether or not they have your vote. If they're not strong law and order, finito, goodbye. Goodbye. And what should actually happen? I'm going to give you the answer right here. But this requires willpower to get it done. So, if you really want to bring about change as it relates to crime, and hear me out, there needs to be a Republican wave with this upcoming election. A Republican tsunami, if you will, with the election. Across the board, top to bottom. Top to bottom. That will send a message to Democrats of, you don't keep me safe, you don't get my vote. And then, if Republicans don't get the job done in a few years, whenever re-election time is, then you go back to the Democratic Party en masse. But folks, please, you have got to vote your interest. So the good news this morning before the bad, and we are taking your telephone calls, 800-848-WABC, 800-848-9222. The good news before the bad. New Yorkers step up in time of need. We may be flaky sometimes. We may go to the other side of the train sometimes. We may go to the other side of the subway platform. But 9 times out of 10, when there is a situation that is trouble, New Yorkers step up, period. So what am I talking about? In Midtown, I'm sure you've all heard what happened in terms of Good Samaritans racing to aid the victims after that taxi crashed into a New York City building, injuring 6 people. So the taxi barreled, if you will, into the Manhattan building, 6 people injured, 3 critically, and a bunch of about 20 Good Samaritans lifted the car off of 2 women pinned under it. They lifted this group a vehicle that weighs nearly 4,500 pounds. This happened at 1186 Broadway between West 29th and West 28th Streets. That's the good news. Going to your telephone calls in just a second. 21-year-old Darius Lee. 21 years old Darius Lee. He was Houston Baptist's leading basketball scorer and rebounder this past season. And this young man was on track to graduate from college in December, months from now. In high school, he played for St. Raymond's, a local high school star. And his sister says he decided to stay out. He decided to stay out one night. And this is what happens. I don't mean to be disrespectful to his family, if the young man's family may be listening to the radio right now. But right now, 21-year-old Darius Lee is in the morgue. And you probably don't know his name. But this young man, by all accounts, was going to make something of himself. A college hoop star. He made it out. Had a promising career. Snuffed out when he came home from school for the summer and ended up senselessly gunned down in the mass shooting in Harlem early Monday. He was pronounced dead at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx as his distraught mother was walking around back and forth trying to get help, begging for news of her son. The mother was told her son was at Lincoln Hospital. And when the family went there, they found out that he had terminated life, that life had ended for him. And this is how his former basketball coach describes him, like a hometown hero.
He's someone that everyone would root for. Like, he's a hometown hero. I coached high school basketball for a long time. You run into certain kids that you say, yo, I would love for my son to be like that. Beyond highlights, Darius was an incredible young man. Like, basketball doesn't really do him justice. A special kid. Real special kid.
A special kid that's gone. And here is how a witness described the shooting.
Many in rapid succession. Around 40 or 50 shots in such a short span of time. There was a lot of screaming and running at the same time in all directions. Some of them almost getting hit by cars.
Almost getting hit by cars, ducking the bullets, 40 to 50 bullets. No regard for life whatsoever. And let's call it for what it is. It's sad. It's another example of black on black crime. It's another example of black on black crime. Here's what the police commissioner had to say.
The emboldened individuals responsible for this are exactly who our officers are battling every day to make our city safe.
to make the city safe. To make the city safe. We are taking your telephone calls on a number of topics this morning, but discussing the Harlem shooting. And by the way, folks, to the one or two folks that have said, well, Dominic, and I haven't heard this in a while, but Dominic, why do you focus on crime so much? Well, here's why.